This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Catholic Diocese of Iowa releases new document for LGBTQ+ guidelines. Bishop Thomas Zinkula of the Diocese of Davenport, Iowa, released Guidelines for Pastoral Accompaniment of Sexual and Gender Minorities on October the 4th, and in his letter introducing the guidance says the first response to LGBTQ+ individuals should be of welcome, love, and respect. This newest U.S. Catholic document on gender identity and sexual orientation is being celebrated by LGBTQ+ Catholics, advocates, and family members as a significant shift in how the Church ministers to a community long on its margins. Many of the more than 45 existing diocesan documents on sexual orientation and queer identity include policies designating bathroom use, attire, and sports participation on the basis of a person's biological sex. The Davenport guidelines, instead, are written around 5 principles: dignity of the human person, acknowledging the reality, love first and listen for understanding, involving others, and a case-by-case approach. Zinkula, a recently appointed Archbishop of Dubuque, Iowa, where he will be installed tomorrow, said the guidelines were crafted in response to clergy, school personnel, and parish staff expressing a desire to learn how to better minister to individuals and families in their parishes and schools who are experiencing gender discordance or differences in sexual orientation. You know what? I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be so excited. This is a step forward. This is progress. Yay. And all of that's true enough, except it's still them deciding for us.
Yeah.
It's still somebody deciding somebody else's fate. And that never, even if it's a step in the right direction, and I hope it keeps going in that direction, I still can't just get past that we are well into the 21st century, and we are still having to form committees and studies and documents to decide if all humans can be treated as if they're human. And so yeah, thanks for one diocese making one document saying that maybe you should at least not be overtly cruel to queer people, and that's something. But it's not. It's way late, and it's not nearly enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, I often think of churches. I hear of so many churches now that are open and affirming. And I appreciate that. I love that. But there is a difference between open and affirming and welcoming and celebrating.
Oh, yes.
There really is. I mean, when we see you and we honor you and we recognize you for all of who you are and your humanity, that is a welcoming and celebrating church. It's not just, yeah, we see you. If you'll put your money in the basket, that would be great. But there's more to it. There's celebrating our lives.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Well, I'd say kind of kudos to them. I'm glad that the door is opening, and maybe they need to have a National Coming Out Day in the Catholic Church and just blow the doors off.
That would be cool.
And just see what happens. And so, and again, we know religion has done so much harm to so many levels and in so many ways. And I think I remember the first time I was at a Catholic funeral, and I heard for the very first time the Catholic the priest say, communion is only open to those who are of this faith, and anyone else, we ask you to refrain. And I just sat there for a minute, and of course I defied the priest, and I wasn't doing communion anyway.
For you.
I followed what the guy in front of me doing. Like, okay, I can do this. But it was just one of those reminders, like, okay, there's the in and there's the out.
Yeah.
And this seems to me like that, yes, kudos. They're trying to break open that door, but for the love of God, just fling it open.
Exactly.
Who and what are you waiting for? Just make it happen.
Well, maybe within the Roman Catholic Church, they don't want to have that National Coming Out Day.
Yeah,
Right.
These actions remind us that what is given can easily be taken away.
Yeah.
That just because this particular diocese is doing this, and we're not even sure if he's going to be able to implement it because he's yet to be installed. If we read next week that, we made a mistake and he's not going to be there, then all of that goodness, quote unquote goodness, that he put out there is going to disappear. So yeah, I'm kind of on your side. Mm-hmm. Thank you for acknowledging that I exist. And how about if you just let me be?
Yeah.
Let me be myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is probably going to have a polar response. Like there's going to be those like, oh, this is amazing, this is good, yay them, or this is not nearly enough, day late, dollar short, do better. But I wonder if there's something, how can we, because we are not a Catholic church, we're a little Catholic, universal, we're everywhere, but we're not part of that institution, we're not part of that hierarchy, and we can just defy it, and we can make fun of it, and we can rage against it, because they don't care what we think, and we're not bound by them. So I'm wondering how, from our place on the outside, how we can encourage them to keep going in this direction, or maybe even other dioceses to take this baby step. I wonder how we can encourage our Catholic friends to do better.
Well, I think for one, he's probably not alone in doing this. I could think that some other bishops somewhere in the area or somewhere in the diocese or within the Catholic Church, like they're watching very closely, and maybe he's the test model. Maybe he's the test for all of this. It has to be that first one, and maybe he's the test for this, and others will see it and say, you know what, it's time, it's past time, or otherwise, the other side of that is that we may end up with two popes. Based on the split, something along those issues. And there's those who like, let's ordain women, let's take care of gay folks, let's do this, and another's not so much that. So we could one day with two popes again.
Again, I was going to say, if you study church history, that has happened.
Yeah, it happened twice.
There's something else also, talking about what's given and what can be taken away. We went to St. Thomas University, and they had a theological program. And all of a sudden, the program disappeared. And when I was there, I kept wondering, how long is this going to last? Because the professors there were extremely progressive, and me, the little gay boy there, kind of pushed my classmates into understanding and accepting a lot of different things. What we learned in Sunshine Cathedral was something that many of my classmates had never heard. So in the beginning, I was the heretic. I was the one who was spouting stuff that nobody had ever heard before. And by the end of the time that I was there, people were coming to me, so what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And all of a sudden, not because of anything that any individual did, but all of a sudden, the School of Theology wasn't as important, and before long, it disappeared.
Yep, it's
Ain't
gone.
going.
Yeah, so what's there can easily be taken away.
Sure.
Yep. Next up, we are excited to tell you about our next adventure with our Global Fellowship. In 2024, we'll be going to where the hills are alive as we explore Austria and Alpine Europe for Gay Oktoberfest. Space is extremely limited, so make sure to go to happeningout.travel/sunshine to reserve your space now.
Would you like to join the Queer God Squad on a special winter cruise in 2024? Well, now you can. You will visit Cozumel, Mexico, Grand Cayman, and Ocho Rios, and you can even add an open bar and Wi-Fi. Join us by going to happeningout.travel/sunshine.